So one very common question I get is how on earth do you stay clean if you live in a tiny little car like this, or even a bigger vehicle like a van? And it's certainly one of the challenges I faced, and I'm going to outline now how I stay clean. Going to attempt to answer the question whilst having a quick walk around Radipole Lake here in Dorset. But anyway, if you live in a larger van, then it's fairly straightforward to stay clean. A lot of van dwellers, if they do their own van build, they'll build in a kind of a shower unit into their vehicle. If you've got a high roof, longer wheelbase, then you've got plenty of space to build just a little wet room, very small shower unit, cupboard type unit, or you can just have a kind of a demountable shower unit. So that's easy, but I live in a tiny little Citroen C1, so I can't really do that. So what do? Well, when I get up first thing in the morning, I basically, and this is pretty gross, but I basically use wet wipes, large size wet wipes, to basically, well, I'm not going to go into any detail, but you probably get the picture. Nice Chetty's warbler there. Now I'm quite fortunate in that I usually find myself by the sea, so one obvious option is to go and have a swim in the sea, and then that's good in the summer when the sea's a bit warm. It's probably good in the winter as well, but I don't have the courage to go cold water swimming. But if I did, that would be the really good option. And then obviously by the beach, there's quite often outdoor showers. There aren't in Ventnor there are, but they're switched off. That's a pretty loud Chetty's warbler. So I can't use a shower when I'm in Ventnor, but there are showers on Weymouth Beach. So you can de-salt yourself, having swam in the sea. That's the one good way of staying clean. Obviously, if you go out, up into the uplands, you've generally got clean upland streams that you can bathe in. And yeah, I never do that. So what I will also do, in summer I'll quite often swim in the sea, but or paddle at least. But then throughout the year I'll just go to public washrooms. There are plenty of those with sinks with hot and cold running water, and I'll use a flannel and a little tube of soap, kind of shower gel, or just all over body wash basically, and that's pretty straightforward. Do that every day, usually twice a day, as well as using the wet wipes. The wet wipes are only really for refreshing in the morning, especially in the warm weather in the summer. It can get really warm in that car, I've discovered. I never get cold in the car, so even in winter I can get quite kind of hot and sweaty, so I need to freshen up in the morning, and that's what the wet wipes are really good at. I mean, they do clean, but they're not the only, you can't really rely on wet wipes, so I'll often go to public loos, which can be a bit manky, and wash there. What else? Now, another very common approach is to get gym membership. So I'm about to join a gym, been saying that for ages, but obviously you get shower facilities if you're a gym member. That does entail going to the gym every day though, or every 2 days, or however long you can leave between your showers. So that's a really obvious option, is gym membership. Now, another option that I have is when I'm down in Cornwall, because I'm associated with the university down there, and I've got access to their facilities, and they have shower units for people that go jogging and biking and hiking. So basically, in some of the loos on campus, they have accessible showers, so I can use those as well whenever I'm down in Cornwall. So that's good, or in Exeter. So that's always a good option. You can hear a reed bunting doing its territorial song off to my left. The microphone may not pick that up. It's not very loud. And reed warblers and sedge warblers as well. So another option I've just acquired is a special kind of shower unit designed for when people go camping in tents. Basically it has this little pump unit, rechargeable, USB rechargeable pump unit at one end, and obviously the shower hose thingy, and then a nozzle at the other end. And basically you can charge it up. You need a collapsible bucket, so a bucket that basically collapses to a flat kind of plate. You can boil some water, so I've got the stove in the car obviously, so I can boil some water and then use a shower. Now I've only just got that, I've not used it yet, but I fully anticipate using it discreetly when I'm parked up on Ventnor Downs or somewhere discreet over the summer. There's no harm in having a shower if you're wearing boxer shorts. It's all fine. I'll do that, and a lot of van dwellers will have kind of those kind of shower setups that they can't use within their vehicle, but they can attach to the outside of the vehicle and freshen up that way. They're the main ways, you know. I suppose if I was to advise people whether staying clean, squeaky clean, was a real problem if you're living in a vehicle, I'd say no, not really. There's plenty of ways of doing it, you know. At home you'd jump in the shower or have a bath. When you're out on the road living in a vehicle, if you live in a big van, you jump in a shower if you've built a shower into your van, or if like me you live in a small car, you'll just use a combination of wet wipes, local facilities with hot running water to flannel down basically, or you'd find public showers or have gym membership. And you can also buy these outdoor shower units, so there's plenty of options for staying clean. In another video I'll cover how you keep your clothes clean and your bedding, which is not a challenge at all, but I'll come on to that in another video. Do leave as many comments as you want to leave, and I'll try and address any questions you have in other videos. I might do a Q&A kind of video. This is the most commonly asked question: how do you keep yourself clean if you live in a tiny car or a vehicle of any sort? And hopefully I've answered that one sufficiently. And yeah, I'm just going to walk back now towards the car park and I think head up to Dorchester. But I do love this Radipole Lake in the middle of Weymouth in Dorset. It's a lovely place to walk. I won't go swimming in the lake here to try and get clean, because I'll come out more filthy, to be honest, because of all the road runoff and muck that comes down the riverway. But let's just have a lovely birding walk. It's a beautiful day. Do you want to see a bit of me? Probably not, but no choice. There we go, this is who you're listening to. So I've got my binoculars here. And I do love walks like this. This is one of the great things about living in a vehicle. A couple of days ago I was in West Sussex. I drove from the Isle of Wight to Littlehampton, stayed in Littlehampton overnight, then drove up to just below Horsham to the Knepp estate, the Knepp rewilding project, and did Friday. We're Sunday now, so on Friday I was at Knepp all day. Then in the evening I drove to Dorchester and then swung down south to Portland Bill and crashed. Well, didn't crash, that would be grim. I parked the car overnight on Portland Bill near the Portland Heights Hotel, stayed there overnight, and got up this morning. So that was on Saturday, that was yesterday. Got up this morning, Sunday, and because I got a meeting on Monday, tomorrow, I'm going to park up in Dorchester overnight and go to work at the Liscombe rewilding site north of Dorchester. It does show the incredible flexibility of living in a vehicle. Would I recommend actually living in a tiny car? I'm probably an extreme example of minimalism in that all of my possessions, except for about 10 books, which I've not had the heart to get rid of yet, they all live in my car. So basically I have barely any possessions apart from all my gear for making YouTube videos and that kind of thing, and my optics, obviously. Giving away all my expensive gear that's in my car now, aren't I? It's all locked away in a locking facility in the car, so that's fine. Yeah, so an extreme minimalism. So is living in a car for everybody? I very much doubt it is. I'm single, although there are plenty of couples that live in vehicles, generally in bigger vans, not in cars. When I was parked up last night, actually, somebody came in a van with a car as well. So a couple had both a van and a car, so that may be a way of doing it, a small van and a car, and they both crashed in the van overnight. So, you know, that gives a nice flexible way of living, where you have a vehicle and basically a mobile house as well. Yeah, so do ask me more questions, and as I've said before, I've written a little book on how I came to be living in a vehicle. I'll attempt to remember to put it up there on the screen. There's a link to it. It's available on Amazon as a ebook and a paperback, print on demand paperback, so you can get that if you want to hear my background. And, you know, in writing I address questions like how I stay clean. Yeah, what else can I say? I don't want to drag this on. I think I will just give you a nice view just up here, then bid you farewell, and you can wait for the next video.